Alright, so, we need to talk about something, because in the last 24 hours, ARMY on X has officially lost their entire minds. And honestly, I don't think I've seen a fandom meltdown this funny in a long, long time. If you've been anywhere near K-pop social media this week, you already know exactly what I'm about to talk about. But if you've somehow missed it, buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride, and trust me, by the end of this you're going to understand exactly why people are calling this ARMY's version of one of the biggest internet debates of the last decade. One man, one haircut, total chaos. And it's all happening right now, days before one of the biggest BTS moments fans have been waiting years for. So here's the setup. BTS is back in Korea, and they're prepping for two massive shows in Busan happening this very weekend, June 12th and 13th. After everything fans have been through, the enlistments, the years apart, the endless waiting, and the countless posts asking when the boys would finally be together again on a stage, this is huge. This is the moment. Rehearsal clips have started leaking online, and naturally, every single second of footage is being treated like sacred archaeological evidence. Every frame, every angle, every flicker of lighting is being studied like it's the Zapruder film. And in the middle of all this excitement, someone posted a short rehearsal clip showing Taehyung and jhobe together, just hanging out, getting ready, looking relaxed and happy ahead of their performance. Totally normal, totally wholesome, the kind of clip that should have just made everyone go, and move on with their day. Except ARMY zoomed in, because that is what we do. We zoom in. We always zoom in. And the moment people zoomed in on Taehyung's hair, the entire timeline exploded, because his hair looked different, shorter, and a completely different color than what fans remembered from his last appearances. And within minutes, the captions started flying across timelines like wildfire. Taehyung dyed his hair black, crying emojis, not one, not two, but an entire wall of crying emojis, the kind of reaction usually reserved for major life announcements, not a haircut. People were genuinely emotional. Some were saying things like they couldn't breathe, that they weren't ready, that this was too much for a Wednesday. All over hair. But here's where it gets really, really good. Because almost immediately, other fans started reposting the exact same clip, the exact same 10-second video, with a completely different caption. And I mean completely different. These people were watching the same footage and writing things like, "Wait, are we sure this is black? Taehyung, hello," followed by their own wall of crying emojis. Because to them, his hair very clearly looked brown. Not black, brown. A warm, rich brown. And they were just as emotional about it, just as convinced, just as ready to die on this hill. So now you've got two massive camps forming in real time. Camp Black, fully convinced, posting screenshots, zooming in even further, adjusting brightness and contrast on their phones to prove their point. And Camp Brown, equally convinced, equally emotional, equally certain that the other side needs to get their eyes checked. And the comment sections underneath these posts became an absolute war zone. People going back and forth. Are you blind? No, you're blind. Screenshots being compared side by side. Fans pulling up old photos of Taehyung's previous hair colors to use as reference points. Like this was some kind of forensic investigation rather than a celebrity haircut debate. And if this is giving you a strange sense of déjà vu, it absolutely should, because multiple accounts have already started calling this exact moment ARMY's version of the dress. You remember the dress, right? About 11 years ago, the entire internet, and I mean the entire internet, got into this massive, heated argument over a photo of a dress. Some people swore up and down that it was blue and black. Other people, looking at the exact same photo, swore with their whole chest that it was white and gold. It became this huge cultural moment. It got covered by major news outlets. Scientists weighed in. It was on every single platform for days. All because of how differently human eyes and brains process color depending on lighting and perception. And now, in 2026, ARMY is having their own version of that. Over Taehyung's hair. Black or brown. Same photo. Same video. Completely different perceptions. It's honestly kind of beautiful when you think about it. This idea that even years later, the same basic phenomenon that broke the internet over a dress is now breaking the internet again. Except this time it's over one of the most photographed men on the planet. But okay, just when you think the chaos has peaked, just when you think this is as wild as it's going to get, it gets even more chaotic. Because right in the middle of this black versus brown civil war that's playing out across every comment section, another photo starts circulating. And in this one, Taehyung is apparently photographed at a restaurant with his manager, and in this photo, his hair is completely, totally 100% blonde. Like platinum blonde. Bleached. A look nobody was expecting. A look that came completely out of nowhere. And a look that sent an entirely new wave of panic rippling through the fandom. And the reactions to this one were, I want to say, unhinged, but in the best possible way. People were posting things like, the streets are saying Taehyung is completely blonde, Busan is about to be public enemy #1. Which, if you don't speak fangirl, basically translates to, if this man shows up to the Busan concert with blonde hair, the entire stadium might actually combust on the spot. People were theorizing about why he'd go blonde right before a comeback. Was it for a new era? A new concept? A surprise solo project? The theories were getting more and more elaborate by the minute. And then, the plot twist. Because it turns out that blonde photo, it was edited. A parody account had taken the original, completely real photo, where Taehyung's hair was actually black, and had digitally edited it to make his hair appear blonde, purely as a joke, purely to mess with people. And it worked. It worked so well, because for a solid few hours, a huge chunk of ARMY genuinely, fully believed that Taehyung had gone full platinum blonde days before a major concert. People were sharing it as fact. People were reacting to it as fact. It was treated as breaking news. And then, slowly, the truth started coming out, and people had to walk back their reactions, except instead of being embarrassed, everyone just kind of laughed it off and went right back to arguing about black versus brown, because honestly, at this point, what's one more layer of chaos on top of everything else? So let's just recap where we're at, because I want you to really sit with how absurd this timeline is. One rehearsal clip surfaces. Half the fandom says his hair is black, and they are devastated in the good way. The other half says no, it's brown, and they are equally devastated, also in the good way. While that's happening, a fake edited photo convinces a huge chunk of people that he's actually gone blonde, sparking a brand new wave of panic and theorizing. That gets debunked. And through all of this, the actual Busan concerts, the real event everyone should be focused on, haven't even happened yet. This is all happening in the build-up. This is just the appetizer. And honestly, I don't think you could write a more chaotic sequence of events if you tried. This is peak fandom behavior, and I genuinely mean that as a compliment. Now, to someone who isn't in this fandom, this might sound completely ridiculous. It's hair. Who cares, right? But if you understand even a little bit about K-pop fan culture, and especially about how fans relate to someone as visually iconic as Taehyung, you start to understand why this matters so much. For idols, and especially for someone like him, hair color isn't just hair color. It's an event. It's a whole shift in energy and mood and era. Fans associate entire emotional periods of their lives with specific hairstyles and colors that an idol had during that time. It becomes nostalgic. It becomes identity. So when there's even a whisper that his look might be changing again, right before a major comeback performance, of course the fandom goes into overdrive. Every photo becomes a clue. Every pixel becomes evidence. Nothing is taken at face value anymore, because ARMY has been burned before by bad lighting, weird filters, and grainy footage, and they are absolutely not about to be fooled again. Except, well, they kind of already were with the blonde thing. But we're not going to dwell on that. And honestly, this isn't even the first time this year that Taehyung's hair has caused this level of reaction. Remember earlier this year, when he went full red for that stunning GQ Korea photo shoot? People were calling it one of the best looks of his entire career. Fans were emotional, in that very specific, the visuals are not fair to the rest of us kind of way. Red Tay lived rent-free in everyone's heads for weeks after that shoot dropped. So there's precedent here. There's history. Every single time this man changes his hair, it becomes a moment, a cultural event within the fandom, something people screenshot, save, make edits with, write essays about. So when rumors started swirling about another potential change, right before Busan, it's no wonder things escalated this fast. But let's step back for a second, because I think the real story here is actually bigger than the hair itself. BTS is back, in Korea, rehearsing, for shows, this weekend. After everything fans have gone through, the waiting, the distance, the uncertainty, we are finally getting real, in-person performances again. And these rehearsal clips, as small and grainy as they are basically the first genuine glimpses fans have gotten of the members together, in their element, prepping for a stage in years. So is it really any surprise that something as small as a haircut becomes massive news? It's not really about the hair. Not entirely. It's about finally having something, anything, new to focus on, to obsess over, to theorize about after all this time. The hair debate is basically just excitement with nowhere else to go. It's the fandom equivalent of vibrating with energy and not knowing what to do with your hands. So you channel all of that energy into arguing about whether a video looks more black or more brown. And honestly, respect. The dedication, the passion, it's genuinely unmatched. And it's part of why this fandom is so iconic in the first place. So where does this leave us? Well, here's the thing. The Busan concerts are happening this weekend, June 12th and 13th, which means, by the time a lot of you are watching this, we might already have the answer. Real photos, real video, real lighting on a real stage with thousands of cameras pointed at him from every possible angle. No more grainy rehearsal clips to squint at in the dark. No more zooming in until the pixels turn into mush. The truth is coming, one way or another, and honestly, I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Is it black? Is it brown? Is it some in-between shade? Some dark chocolate, deep espresso situation that's going to spark an entirely new debate, an entirely new round of is this black or brown discourse that makes the current one look tame by comparison? Or, and honestly, knowing this man's track record, is he going to show up with something none of us even considered, some brand new color, some brand new cut, that makes this entire black versus brown argument completely irrelevant the second the first concert photo drops? Because let's be real, Taehyung has done everything. He's done the pixie cut with the asymmetric bangs that became its own viral moment, where the hair designer literally had to come out and name the haircut because so many people were asking about it. He's done mullets. He's done full red, the kind of red that stops scrolling thumbs in their tracks. He's done platinum. He has, without exaggeration, one of those faces that can pull off literally any hairstyle on the planet. And fans know this, which is exactly why every single little change sends everyone into a spiral. Because with him, anything is possible. He could walk out tomorrow with green hair, or silver hair, or some color that doesn't even have a proper name yet, and somehow, make it look like the most iconic styling decision of his entire career. That's just who he is. That's just the effect he has. So that's the situation as it stands right now. One rehearsal clip, two competing color theories, each with their own passionate, deeply convinced fanbase. One fake edited photo that briefly convinced half the internet he'd gone full blonde. And an entire global fandom collectively losing, and then finding, their minds, all within about 24 hours, all before the actual event even happens. If this is the level of reaction to a few seconds of blurry rehearsal footage, I genuinely, truly cannot imagine what's going to happen the moment real concert photos and videos start flooding timelines from Busan. We could be looking at an even bigger meltdown, a bigger debate, possibly an entirely new internet phenomenon being born out of this, the same way the dress became this whole cultural touchstone. So here's what I want from you. If you're watching this and you caught that original rehearsal clip, I want to know, genuinely, which side are you on? Are you Team Black, standing firm, convinced, ready to defend your position in the comments? Or are you Team Brown, equally convinced, equally ready to go to war over this? And be honest, were you one of the people who saw that edited blonde photo and, even for just a second, even just for a moment, felt your heart drop, felt that little spike of panic before realizing it wasn't real? No judgment here, by the way. Absolutely no judgment. We have all been there. We have all been there. If this whole saga personally exhausted you in the best, most chaotic, most entertaining way possible, let me know, because honestly, this is exactly the kind of fandom content I live for. The drama, the theories, the rapid-fire shifting narratives, the way an entire global community can pivot from devastated to confused to panicked to relieved all within the span of a single afternoon. It's genuinely fascinating to watch unfold in real time. And the best part is, we're not even at the climax yet. The actual concerts haven't happened. The real reveal is still coming. So whatever you think you know right now, whatever side you're on, just know that it could all change the moment those Busan photos start rolling in. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for updates from the shows this weekend, because trust me, the second those photos and videos drop, this entire debate is either going to be settled once and for all, or, knowing this fandom, it's going to somehow get even more complicated, with new angles, new lighting conditions, new debates about whether stage lights are messing with the actual color. There's truly no telling where this goes next, and that unpredictability is honestly half the fun. So that's where we're leaving things for now. One haircut, two colors, one fake blonde scare, a global fandom in absolute disarray, and a major concert about to settle the score once and for all, or possibly make everything 10 times messier. Either way, we'll be watching closely, and the moment there's real footage, real photos, real answers, you'll be the first to know. Until then, ARMY, stay loud, stay chaotic, keep arguing in those comment sections, because honestly, that's half of what makes this fandom so special in the first place. And as always, never ever change.